Awesome. Hey, everyone, I'm Tiffany, and welcome to the Wise Guys channel. On the podcast today, we have my friend and colleague, Victoria Belue. So welcome, Victoria. I'm so happy to be talking with you today.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm glad you're here. Guys, we're talking about dreams. And, there's so many different ways to look at dreams. But Victoria has 30 years experience doing dream analysis. Before we get going, I want to give you a little snippet about her life and what she has done in her career and what she does now, so that you can get to know, like, and trust her just like I do. But we're going to talk mostly about dreams. Because she's got a class coming up on February 7th. So members, you're welcome to attend with your membership, and non-members are welcome to drop in. And today we're just going to kind of tease you about the class a little bit and get into dream analysis. But Victoria, I met through her magazine, through Astrologic Magazine. And so if you go to astrologicmagazine.com, you can see a variety of topics from sound healing to astrology to Western and Vedic astrology to tarot and dream analysis. Tarot is one of Victoria's really, I think, passions and strong points. And so much so that she wrote an urban fantasy series about tarot. And so before her metaphysician side kicked in, Victoria was a network producer, right? A network producer and award-winning writer. So I just have goosebumps that you're here. So thank you for taking the time out to talk to us, to talk to Wise Skies people about your experience and your studies with dream analysis. Did I leave anything out?
No, thank you. Very gracious introduction. Thank you.
So you guys, you can find Victoria at astrologicmagazine.com, and then also Victoria Belue it's Belue. And I will make sure you have those in the descriptions. So Victoria, I want you to tell us a little bit about the dream analysis part of your life. How did you get into it? Were you taking trainings? How did you go there?
Well, I became involved with it at least 30 years ago. It's probably a little bit more than that now, but I fell into it the way probably everybody does who ends up studying it or being curious about it. And that's because of the dreams I was having. I mean, I would have repetitive dreams, and then I would have really significant dreams that I thought there has to be some sort of message here for me. And even at that state, before the internet was really up and rolling, I had to really look to find resources to begin studying dream analysis, dream interpretations. And I was very fortunate because I did. Right across the street from where my dry cleaners was 30 some years ago, there was the School of Metaphysics in this.
Whoa.
I know, right? And this beautiful white building with these white columns. And so I found out they had something called the Dream Academy. And so I began studying with them. And Barbara Condren in particular, her Dreamer's Dictionary has been an inexhaustible resource for me in terms of learning about, because she had studied dreams previous to me for 20 or 30 years. Excuse me. And so what she brought was this understanding of how it is, what our dream messages are. And that to me was that took me down the rabbit hole, right? I mean, I became completely involved in studying dreams from that point forward, and not only analyzing my own, keeping a dream journal, but as I would tell people, and I wasn't broadcasting it because, at that point you have people, there are still a lot of people who think, oh, I don't dream. Well, everyone dreams. And that's scientific. It's not, based on any sort of philosophy or esoteric beliefs. It's proven we all dream every single night. or people would say, no, those dreams, they don't mean anything. Well, and so I didn't speak a lot about the fact that I was studying how to interpret my dreams, but the people who did know would say to me, my friends and family would be like, I had the craziest dream last night. I mean, we've all said this, right?
Right.
And so I would begin interpreting other people's dreams. And I've been doing that forever. And then I realized, especially this really took off during the pandemic when we were in lockdown. I was at home all the time and not communicating with anyone except like we are now, over the phone or whatever. And I, through Astrologic magazine, through my magazine, which I've been publishing for 8 years, I began saying, yeah, if you want some dream analysis, if you want me to help you understand your dreams, then, let's set up a session. So I've been doing that. That's been I've been very busy with that. And I'm really happy for that, because if I can help people understand what messages are coming through in their subconscious minds, that they can then put to work in their waking lives. I know this is going to be a bold statement, but truly, you can eliminate your greatest fears and achieve your highest goals.
I have full chill bumps because it's so true. You really can. And it's something that you're doing every night anyways. I mean, it's not like you have to add to it, or it's just a simple time to pause for self-reflection, for understanding, for greater insight. And guys, this is such a great time to be talking about this, because for a couple of reasons. One, we are recording this in January of 2023. 2023 is a 7-year in numerology, and a 7-year for me is about spiritual reflection, about introspection, about looking at things like our dream life, about keeping the dream journal. All of that works really well with the 7 frequency all year long. But we're also approaching March, and the astrology in March is that Saturn, which has been in Aquarius, the collective consciousness, Saturn will be moving into Pisces. Okay. Pisces that governs our dreams. And so Saturn, there's about regulation and discipline and boundaries and long-term goals and strategies, right? And so to look at dream science kind of in this time of the year will be very, very interesting to see how it plays out. Saturn will be in Pisces for 3 years. It goes into Pisces March 7th, and it will exit in February of 2026. So there's a brief little blip where it goes into Aries, but basically Saturn's going to be in Pisces for 3 years. And I have some horoscopes for you guys on that I'll drop in the comments too. But this is such a great time of year to be looking at dream analysis. And a lot of you guys know that I highly recommend a dream journal for your psychic development, right? And so this is really the main reason why I wanted to have this conversation with you, Victoria, is because it's so supportive of people's spiritual development to look at dreams. In every class you've taken on being psychic, they're going to say, write a dream journal. And so you can take it seriously or not. But the reason that it's, for me, that it's been so beneficial is that you're practicing recall from a non-local reality. And that's what psychic work is, right? So
Absolutely. Yeah. And on top of that, I would say it's about interpreting symbols too, right? And
yeah.
which is what dreams are. And so to draw that parallel between psychic development and dreams, yes, both are dealing with non-local reality. And the more comfortable we become with taking our dreams seriously and deciphering them, the more we will remember them. And those crazy dream elements of things like flying all by yourself, or watching your teeth fall out, or what falling, or whatever all of these common symbols are that we all dream about, they end up making you feel more comfortable psychically when you are able to understand that these aren't just nonsensical images that your mind is going through in the dreaming process, that it is actually, if you decode the symbols, you can understand and put together the narrative of what your subconscious mind wants you to understand. but that allows the atypical to become typical, right?
Mhm.
And you become very aware of how there are other dimensions at play in our lives. And so that is how the psychic development, your psychic abilities, and dreaming really integrate with each other. If you are comfortable with either or, then you can move into the other realm very easily, because both will help you, right? Both allow us, our souls, to progress. I mean, that's all part of the journey, not only with our psychic development, but with interpreting our dreams.
Perfect. Well, I see that I jumped ahead on our outline, guys. So that this was something that I meant to talk about later. But what we're going to cover today, we're also going to talk about a few little statistics on sleep science. So if you are into dream analysis, it's also important to understand or have some of the scientific background on sleep science and brain chemistry that goes into that. Victoria is going to share a little outline of the class that's coming February 7th at 6 p.m. Central Time. And we're going to talk about the different types of dreams, right? The different types of dreams that people might be having or people are having. We covered the importance of dream analysis with psychic development there. And then I'm really excited because Victoria is going to run through one of my wild and crazy dreams to just show you some examples of how we can work with dream analysis. And so just full disclosure, we haven't talked about this. I had a legit dream. I emailed it to her. It was very, very busy, which is common for me. And I can't wait to get to that part of the episode today. But tell us, what are some things we should know about sleep science? What are some fun facts that you've discovered?
Well, it's so fascinating. From a biological perspective, it's so necessary for us to sleep, because during sleep, the insulin in our bodies gets regulated and antibodies get produced. And so this is really essential to us. Also, waste products are cleansed from our brains. And in children, growth hormones are secreted. So when people say that they don't need to sleep, or that they can sleep on just, 3 or 4 hours, you're actually, from a biological standpoint, over a long period of time, you could harm yourself by not allowing these things to happen. You can cause physical problems by not allowing sleep to happen, and sleep allows us to process daily events in a basic 2-to-1 ratio. 2 hours of waking activity translates to about 1 hour of sleep, where our brains consolidate information from the previous day, which involves a process of synthesizing new proteins that connect with our nerve cells networks, forming the basis of memory. So again, another real reason to allow yourself to have the amount of sleep that you need every night. And it will vary. Scientists say that anywhere between 7 to 9 hours every night is of good, healthy sleep, uninterrupted mostly, is what most of us need. And so some will need 7. I need 7, but some people need 9. And that's just, what your body is needing to, as I said, regulate and create a healthy physical and, functioning body for yourself. Fun little tip here: sleep when you're trying to learn something that is especially involving sequences. It improves performance. So if you're wanting to learn something, a foreign language, let's say, how to speak sequentially in a foreign language, play, put the earbuds in and listen to lessons while you're sleeping, because that will really
Oh,
help you. Yeah. We dream 2/3 of our sleep time. And that's for the people who say they don't dream. They do dream. They dream about 2/3 of the time. And however, we don't remember most of our dreams.
mhm.
Yeah, whatever the biological function is of dreams, they don't depend on us remembering them. And so I think that that is into the whole survival aspect of knowing, we get these new neural pathways created when we're dreaming, right? And that allows us to understand things the next time they happen, right? Something like a big giant cat running at you means that you need to run the other way. That gets processed when we're sleeping. So that helped us evolve, right? But also from a very interesting point of view, many Nobel Prize winners attribute their ideas to dreams, and have acknowledged this. Albert Einstein would do what he called thought experiments, where he would focus on a physics problem and allow himself to drift off to sleep. And frequently he would have the answer to his problem when he woke up. And then from a science aspect of it, Mary Shelley said the idea for her book Frankenstein came from a dream, as did Paul McCartney, who dreamt the entire melody of the song Yesterday in a dream.
Oh my God. Wow. That is chill bumpy. That's so good.
I know. And he said that when he awoke, he had to he wanted to put the melody down, and somehow, and luckily he had a piano in the house he was staying in, and he just began playing the song on the piano. And at one point he was making the other Beatles kind of crazy, because he kept playing the melody over and over, and they were like, put some words to this song. So
right.
Yeah. And then finally, Sergey Brin came up with the idea for Google in his dream. And and he has said that. So just to give you an idea of how important dreams are and what they can create. So sleep selectively saves and evolves our memories as the brain calculates what will be of good use for us going forward. So yeah, sleep is very important. That's just a little tidbit. I could go into more, but that will give you an idea, just the basis of how important this is.
Oh, that's so juicy to me. There was a trip that I took with my yoga studio in India, and I remember being on the eco farm, and they one of the guys said, our biggest tip here is to sleep on it. And I'm like, what? I want to learn about yoga and meditation and philosophy and this farm and the food. And they're like, the best thing you can do is to take an idea into sleep. And I'm like, I came to India to learn to sleep on it. But it's so true. It's like, and I tell people that too. Like, if that is really some solid advice, is to just get some sleep behind it, because something is being processed, during that time. And you might wake up with your next Beatles song. Neptune, that rules our dreams, also rules the muse, our creative spirit. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay, I want you to give us a little bit of an outline about your class, and then we're going to talk about the different types of dreams.
So the class that I would like to share with everyone basically will take you through the steps of understanding, again, why you dream, not only from that biological, physical perspective, but from that soul journey perspective. And then take you into how you, if you say you don't dream, we'll address that, and how you can begin remembering your dreams and remembering more in your dreams, more of your dreams, and then how to deal with it once you wake up, which of course involves recording them. I use my phone to record my dreams. I grab my phone and just start saying whatever images are in my mind, because you begin losing them right away, almost instantly. And that is because the analogy I like to use is our subconscious mind is like the moon, which is wonderful that you're bringing in all these astrological aspects, Tiffany, because I've always felt like our subconscious dreaming mind is like the moon, and our conscious mind is like the sun. And when we're at night, when we're dreaming and the moon is up, it takes center stage. And our mind is just in these amazing places, telling us, giving us all of this information and contact, by the way, which I will also get into. But the minute we become awake, the sun comes up. And we all know what happens when the sun comes up. It just really, it takes away, you can't see the moon any longer, right? Or you have to look really, really hard for it up in the sky. So that's what our conscious mind does. Once we wake up, we immediately begin logical thought. We immediately begin doing all the things that take us into that realm. So we'll talk about why it's important to record our dreams, either in writing, however, and then how to decode them. And then finally, and which means looking at each symbol, but then pulling the whole narrative together and then making it your personal message to yourself, which is the final step in decoding it. And that's the essential step. And then how to put it to use in your waking life, which that's when you can change your life in the most amazing ways.
That's the ticket. That's the golden key that we're going to get to at the end of class, which I cannot wait for. I have definitely been working with like different meditation techniques in the wee hours when I wake up and then going back to sleep and programming my mind and stuff like this. One thing that I know you're going to address in class as another tease is why not to lucid dream. Now this was shocking to me because it's like you get into this metaphysical world and you want to learn how to do stuff, but there's a very valid reason why this is not good behavior. And so I know you're going to touch on that too, which I appreciate you teaching us about that. Okay, so the different types of dreams we have, do you want to touch on those?
Yeah, absolutely. So the most common type that we have are the symbolic dreams, which are our vast majority. They are when our subconscious and superconscious minds are trying to convey messages to us. And I want you guys to always understand that our subconscious minds always want us to live at our highest potential, and that it's always striving to help us gain what we are consciously wanting to achieve in our lives. And so what happens when we're dreaming is our subconscious, our superconscious, and those are two very different things, will always strive. It pulls no punches. They will tell us exactly what's going on with us. And while we may think we know in our conscious mind, oh yes, normally these are the stories that we're telling ourselves, right? Our dreams are telling us exactly what the deal is. And so once you decode your dreams and understand, oh, this dream is telling me I have been lazy, let's say, in not getting the physical activity I need, or whatever it is, your subconscious, your dreams will tell you what has been going on with you, and then it's your choice to put those changes, make the decision to make changes in your life, in your waking life, right? So the next kind of dream that a lot of us have are what I call visitations. These are when we have loved ones come through and visit. These are not as common. However, I will say that for people who are really tuned in psychically, they are more common and they will come through. There is a way to tell that I'll go into in this class about how to tell the difference between, because sometimes you'll dream of your mother if she's passed, and that will be just a symbolic dream. But sometimes she'll actually come and visit you, and that is a visitation. So I'll show everybody how to tell the difference. I'll explain how to tell the difference between the two. Visitations can also be from non-physical entities that maybe have never had, and I know you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and so we'll talk about those as well. because some of them can be unpleasant and need to be addressed, and others can be just, a visit that can enlighten you in a couple of really interesting ways. But we'll go into all of that as well. Another type of dream are your premonition dreams, right?
Right.
And those are more rare. But nevertheless, as we understand that, if anybody saw the movie Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, you realize that we just live in, honestly, time is a construct that we humans came up with to kind of keep us moving forward in the way that we move forward. But honestly, everything is happening all at once. And that's what premonition dreams are doing, is we tap into something that is happening in the future. And excuse me, I will explain what those are all about. Then finally, yes, we will get into lucid dreaming and why it's a parlor trick, in my opinion, and I will explain why. And some people think it's very cool to lucid dream, but it has its consequences. It really does. So we'll talk about that as well.
It's kind of like Ouija board. Like everybody kind of assumes that I'm going to be into Ouija and I'm not. And so I have this whole like article about like why I just don't do that. And people, they're like, thank you. Once you give them the clarity on that, right? Like, and so I think that's what you're going to do for us with lucid dreaming too, which I'm really excited about, because it's not, anyways, that's a whole other topic. The premonitions, when you were talking about time being a construct, that's another Saturn is known as the time lord, right? Like the father time, the karma boomerang. And so the idea that Saturn, the planet of time, is moving into Pisces is another cool astrological tie-in that's going on here.
That's awesome.
Okay, so how do you want to do the dream analysis portion? How do you want to do it?
Well, so I would would you be willing to just recount your dream and then pull it apart?
Yes. Okay, let me pull up, because I haven't, gosh, it's long. I haven't looked at it in a while. And
well, the fact that you remember such detail, because I you emailed that to me and I thought, wow. And I think I even said to you, that's amazing that you can remember so much in so much detail. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I've started making them into Word documents because I can't type on my phone. Like it's just too much to be like dee in the middle of the night. So I think I'm just gonna remove the names because these are real people in my life. But I'm with one of my mentors and I'm getting my photo taken at my aunt's in Maine. And it's a beautiful home, and my aunt's ex-partner is there, and they're taking down the ornaments off of her big huge Christmas tree, and it's my first time there, and I'm very aware of a brown wooden piano and another beautiful instrument in the corner. My aunt in real life is a musician and a pianist, and that makes sense, but I was very much drawn to this wooden piano. And I'm showing her former partner that I can hear music playing, and I play it by ear, and I'm showing her like, look, it starts on the note C. And so I can see like, okay, there's C sharp, and I can tell her like all of the notes, and this is where it starts. And in the window, their window is like, those pictures where it's like this much is the water, and this, like if you're watching the seals at the zoo or something, but you can see this beautiful stream that butts up to the window. And there's a huge, beautiful tree that I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the biggest tree I've ever seen. It's like arms are coming out at me. It's just beautiful. And I leave my bags there at the house, and my other aunt, this one's sister, comes to pick up my bags, and she's like, don't leave your stuff out. It can get stolen. You need to take it with you. And I'm like a child of the universe. This is how I travel too. I'm like, can I leave my bags at this hotel so I can go to another city? And, so, we've done that, but she's like, and she, in my dream, she's like concerned for me. She's like, please take your bags with you. And so then I'm back in the point where I'm having my picture made, right? So there's some time loop thing that I'm not understanding, but I'm trying to record all the data. So I'm having my picture made. There's another girl there. We're in these black bikinis. There's this old style camera. It's very much, it goes from color to black and white for just a second. And then my mentor comes by with 16 or 18 people, and they're rushing off to the airport with this really famous musician who she is friends with in person. And she's like, you got to come with us. And I'm like, I don't want to leave. And she's like, you got to jump on these invites. You got to come. And so I go to find my bags, which fortunately my aunt had brought to me, and they're really solid, bright colors. Like one is bright pink and one is bright orange and one is bright green. So I'm downstairs. Oh, this was weird. So I'm downstairs, and there's this man who is blind and like walking like a zombie and drooling, and he's like trying to kiss me. He's like trying to find me to kiss me. And I'm like trying to escape. So I have all these crazy bags and my friend with the cool musician at the airport. And I'm walking over these black leather stairs to get out of this dungeon feeling. And I silently get away from the situation, and I get to the airport, and my mentor and all of her cool musician friends like zoom by in these chairs with wheels. They're not wheelchairs, but they were like zooming by energetically. And I'm like, well, okay. And I look for the help desk, and it's 30 feet up. And I'm like, how would you help anybody from up there? I'm like, And so somehow it came back into play, and a really young dude is at the help desk. And at first they can't hear me, but the younger guy finally does hear me. And I'm like, I need help. I need to get with that group. I'm almost done, guys. I know this is long, but he's the customer service guy, helps me. He like whisks me to the terminal to get everything checked in. He shows me how to get my ticket, but I'm not on the plane list. And so the whole time in my mind, I'm like, if I would have just left when she said, everything would have been fine. But I have created all this chaos because I didn't just go with it, or I responded no, and then I said yes. I'm having all this like, I missed it, And then another little segment, one of my very best friends and I are walking through this field of weeds, and here in Austin, it's like pollen season. And so the weeds are up over our head, and we come out to the edge of the road, and I see another colleague who is very prominent in the food writing industry. And she's looking at this beautiful wall of art, and she's got all of these, like, they're wood and weavings. They're not macrame, but it's stuff like my grandmother used to make. So I'm like, oh, and I'm feeling so connected to this art and my grandmother and these weavings. And then she gives me the one that's my very, very, very favorite, that reminds me of my grandmother. And I'm like crying because of how generous it is, and how special it is. Then I'm in my other grandmother's kitchen, my grandmother Tura, right? Whose birthday we were talking about earlier. And one of my clients has driven over from Alabama, and she's getting dinner ready, and she's got another friend coming to meet her, and everybody's drinking wine, which I don't. So it was like very much this pressure thing of like, am I going to drink with them? Am I not going to drink with them? My cousin is there. And then I woke up with this song in my head, this like tempo of this song, which is kind of embarrassing, but I'll just tell you because we're talking about dreams. It's the Sugar How'd You Get So Fly song. And I had to go look up the lyrics, which are nasty, so I don't want to read them out loud. But it was, the vibe isn't nasty. It's like hip hop, but it's not like gangsta hip hop. It's like, it's kind of very dreamy and vibey and moody. And it was very much how I felt in that dream. And that that's only what I could remember. Like there was more to it. So thank you everyone. If you're still here, I know that was a lot to listen to. I'm sure there are some interesting things to dissect. But what do you make of that?
So just that, the quick analysis, yeah, from my standpoint is that you were dreaming. The dream was all about your conflicted feelings about not following your first instinct and wanting to be in the image that you are wanting to portray yourself, how you're wanting to come across. And there was, that is the quick answer to it. There's a lot of detail that we can go into later, but that's what the photograph is all about, right? It's all about the image that you are wanting to create. The guy, the help desk being 30 feet above you, that's like you not achieving that level to get to be with your friends, whoever, and of course the friends that you are dreaming of that are saying come along, you obviously respect them and consider them to be at a level of whatever they do to be successful. And am I right about that?
Oh, absolutely. Like top, like world class, in my opinion.
And so this dream was all about you, and it was there was ambivalence there, because some parts of that dream resonate with the fact that yes, you are on the level that you're wanting to be, but you're wanting to achieve more. The piano, the musical instruments, of course, represent harmony that you're wanting to bring into your life. And the blind guy that's drooling is an aspect of you consciously feeling like you're not seeing all that you need to see, right?
That's so true.
You're the blind person in that. And the drooling is just the passion, the desire, that you have to achieve this. So it was really one of those dreams where your subconscious is telling you that you have been struggling with whether it was one specific thing or more than one thing that you're regretting not getting on board with. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it is.
And so here's where so that's the general, and you and I can go into more detail when we're, not doing this, but what needs to happen from this point is you can fine tune, you can refine what I'm sharing with you to really hone that message a little bit into sharper image for you. And from this point, once you've done that, decide what you can do in your waking life to address what this dream is telling you, that you're feeling like you have not gotten on board the flight. Airplanes, by the way, represent organizations. And so you missing the flight says that you are feeling like you somehow did not achieve some aspect of being part of an organization at that point, whatever.
And I can tell you, like, that's accurate, one. And then two, I also am not on board with some of the things in the organization that are happening. So I'm it's like,
that's how you fine tune it, because I wouldn't know that from the symbols that I was listening to, but you do know that. And that's where it's essential that once I help you understand what these fundamental symbols are saying and put the narrative together, then you hone it, as I said, sharpen it, so it's in really clear focus to what this is meaning for you. And then, of course, that final step, how do I deal with this in my waking life to create what it is I'm wanting?
Please tell me when we get done with the podcast, because it really is a big, huge issue in my life. And, I'm going to keep dreaming about it and keep journaling and keep meditating because it's not clear to me. So what you're talking about is clear to me and it's spot on, but what to do about it is not. And so that's where I'm going to fine tune and work with this.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of people have the flying dream. There's another set of dreams I have that are recurring dreams, and we had another dream analyst last year, a friend and colleague, Jen LeCompte, who came and worked through my recurring bear dream, and it did change, and I do still have it, but it has changed because I sat with a bear consciousness. Oh, who's this?
This is Vesta. She's named after my main character of my urban fantasy series.
In your books, yeah, Vesta. Okay. The recurring dreams that people have, I think that's going to be fun to talk about, because to me it's like some of the recurring dreams people have that would produce a lot of anxiety in me. The bear dream, even though it's trying to kill me, is not an anxiety thing. I wake up and I'm fine. But some of these, like waking up and they're not ready for class, or they're you know, that type of a feeling over and over and over again, right? Like your subconscious is trying to reach you, right?
Well,
And
what it's saying, when we have recurring dreams, it is our subconscious, which is really saying, please pay attention and deal with this. Because once you do deal with it, that dream goes away. Of course, showing up for a test that you haven't studied for all year, that's another very common dream. That just means that, and let me say this, almost every dream deals with something that happened in your previous day. So looking back into your previous day will almost certainly allow you to pinpoint, if you don't know already, what the dream was talking specifically about. Look back to your previous day, because it will almost certainly tell you that. And so showing up for a test that you haven't studied for just means that you feel unprepared for something from your previous day that did not, you know, that you are now subconsciously unhappy about, upset about enough that it's coming through in your dreams. And especially if that's a repeating dream, it's saying, pay attention, get prepared, you know, get informed, whatever it's addressing. Yeah, that's what recurring dreams are all about. Yeah, for sure.
yeah. Well, this is really exciting. Are there any other dream tidbits that you wanted to put in the podcast today?
Well, I mean, you know, the class will have a lot of information, but, you know, just start recording your dreams as soon as you can. And there are a couple of books. I love the Dreamer's Dictionary. Here we go. Barbara Condren, Dreamer's Dictionary. This I've had for 30 years. Although it's a really good copy, although it's probably a newer one, since I have probably given my older ones to other people over the years. Just don't remember it. But, you know, start thinking about what your dreams are saying to you, and see, you know, and of course, in my magazine, Astrologic, here I will give a shameless plug for it.
Please.
Because we have a whole category on dreams, and there are dozens of dream symbols that you can go and look up and begin to piece together your, you know, what your dream is about. And once you have those symbols, then create the narrative of, here's what this symbol means, and here's what this symbol means. And, you know, together, these are talking about this. And you'll begin to really understand how your subconscious mind is talking to you, and your superconscious. So superconscious mind, I said earlier, was different. What that is, you are in the highest realms of your state of awareness. You know, we're in our conscious mind right now. So we're in one of two levels of our conscious mind right now. And then we have 4 levels of our subconscious mind. Think of it like a pyramid going up. And then the 2 top levels are our superconscious. And when we're in our superconscious mind dreaming, that's when we have the visitations from other people who have passed, or entities that have never had a physical form. That's when we tap into all sorts of interesting information. But yeah, and so if you really pay attention to your dreams, you will learn so much about yourself. And just be willing. That's the other thing. That's the caveat I want to throw out there. Be willing to accept what your dreams are telling you, because a lot of times it's things that you need to work on.
Mm-hmm. Yes, as exemplified. And if you don't dream as prolifically as I do, don't worry about it. You know how I started was my aunt told me to just record what kind of color I was feeling. And that really did open things up for me. And I was able to describe some color. I usually wake up hearing music. And so I write down what that song is. If I know it, sometimes it's heavenly music, sometimes it's celestial music, but sometimes it's like hip hop. You know what I mean? So there's no thing that you don't have to fit into a box with your dreams. You can just start to try to remember a feeling tone. When I wake up, I usually wake up with a jolt. Like I don't just
You know what that
wake
is?
up. Tell
You
me.
know, that is you coming back into your body, your
Mhm.
spirit coming back into your body. They call it the silver cord, meaning that,
Yes.
yeah. And so that is you actually, your soul, if whatever term you would like to use, spirit, soul, whatever, energy, whatever, coming back into your body. That's
Mhm.
exactly what that is.
Well, I would like to set the intention that I go a little slower because when I come back in and wake up, I'm just like, and it creates a whole thing.
Well, and again, because you are so psychic and so tuned into your energetic self, being, I'm not going to use the word trapped, but being put back into this small vessel of your body probably does feel jarring to you sometimes, restrictive. Does it feel restrictive sometimes?
Yeah, it feels electric is what it feels like. I remember one time I was asleep and I was like both in my body and in the astral world, and I was like watching my body come back in the silver cord. And it was a weird thing to witness. It's only happened once, but I could see it coming in from the left side in, and I just like put my hand out and shot up in bed, and I was like, what, it's good thing that nobody's here to see that. But it definitely I can see the silver cord, and I have the experience of feeling what it's like to like jolt back in. For our human design friends, when I wake up, I have a hanging gate 5. And so that's another thing to look at is your dream rave, right? So you have a waking chart, and then you also have a chart that happens when you're asleep. We don't have that in Western astrology. In Western astrology, it's like when you were born, this is what the sky map was, and we can interpret that, and we can interpret the transits. But human design has this whole other thing called a dream rave, where you have a whole separate chart. You have different centers in your body than when you're awake. And that moment that it switches from sleep to awake, some people have a very blah situation, and some people have a need for a longer wake up period. I find that the longer wake up just creates worry, and I just got to get up. Even if I just sit up, like physically go from laying down to sitting up, and go into my meditation, and then I can start my day. That's the healthiest way for me personally, but it might not be the healthiest way for you personally. So lots of different dream behaviors. Okay, well, I appreciate and value your time so much. I know that you have studied this extensively, and that you have so much experience and wisdom to bring to us. This is a perfect time, guys, to come to Victoria's Dream Workshop. It is a great tool if you want to be more psychic in this 7-year of numerology, of working on your spiritual toolkit. And so don't worry, you don't need any experience, or you can have a lot of experience. There's definitely going to be a great conversation and a lot to learn, as you can see, a lot more than I thought there was to it. So I'm learning something every conversation we have. And the class is February 7th at 6:00. Again, free for members of Wise Skies. If you want to check out our membership, you can go to wiseskiescollective.com on the membership page. And if you just want to drop in and see what we're about, you can pay for the class fee. And we would love to have you as a special guest. If you guys have dream questions that you want us to be looking at ahead of time, you can email us hello@wiseguyscollective.com, and we can kind of get a sample going on, and Victoria can give us some hot takes. So we would love to hear from you. I'll drop all the links in the comments below. Anything else that you want to mention?
I look forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I am so excited about it. Thank you so much for coming, Victoria. And we'll see everybody again real soon, guys. Namaste.